I think Google has trained everyone to do like a question response. You ask a question or you find some information, and then Google will give you a response, and that's like the end of it, right? If you use ChatGPT in that way, you're not actually going to get um, the reason why ChatGPT is so powerful. ChatGPT is really powerful because you can have a conversation with it, similar to like a human, and refine the answers that you want in order to get the most value out of it.
Welcome to the Direct Cremation Podcast with your host, Tyler Yamasaki. Hi, thank you for joining us on the Direct Cremation Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Yamasaki, CEO of Parting Pro, the #1 cremation arrangement software for funeral homes. If you like the content, please give us a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. So in today's episode, we will explore AI with our resident technology guru and my co-founder of Parting Pro, Will Chang. Every couple of years, there's these hype cycles of technology that seep into our everyday news cycles. An example of this would be how the crypto and blockchain were game-changing a few years ago. And while it's not completely dead, and there was a bunch of money thrown into it, the daily impact of the blockchain today is minimal to the everyday person. However, that is not the case for AI today. AI is already having a large impact on businesses, content creation, art, and science. In today's episode, we'll talk about ChatGPT and use real-world examples of how you can incorporate this into your funeral home business. Please welcome today's guest, Will Chang, to talk about AI in the funeral home.
Hi, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. So I want to get started, and I know you have a ton of examples for us. What is the platform? And I know there's a bunch of different platforms, but what is the platform you're going to be using today? And if maybe you can talk about some of the differences of some of the other ones.
Yeah, so there's a good amount of them. ChatGPT is probably the one that most people have heard about. That's the one that started this whole thing that got every other company trying to catch up. So I would say ChatGPT, which is from OpenAI, is probably the most well-known one. There's also Claude, which is from Anthropic. There's Gemini from Google. There's Grok from X.com. And then there's this new one just from China called DeepSeek. But ChatGPT is probably the one that people are most familiar with, so we'll use that one. That's specifically just for chatbots, like chatting, by the way. But there's a lot of other AI type things around photos or images, around video, around transcription and audio, around music. There's a ton of different ones, but let's just start with ChatGPT.
Okay. So ChatGPT is one of these versions of AI that you can use. Exactly how would you use it? Can you maybe show us an example, or can you bring up how you would actually use it in your...
I'll share my screen with you guys. Let's see. So this is ChatGPT. This is my personal ChatGPT. Our company also has a ChatGPT account too, but this is my personal one. I pay $20 a month for it, but you can also there's one that's more in depth that you can pay $200 a month for. But yeah, this is the $20 per month one.
And so what it looks like is almost like a Google page, like a Google search page.
Yeah.
What is like one of the main differences between ChatGPT and let's just say Google?
Yeah, so I think Google has trained everyone to do like a question response. You ask a question or you find some information, and then Google will give you a response, and that's like the end of it, right? If you use ChatGPT in that way, you're not actually going to get the reason why ChatGPT is so powerful. ChatGPT is really powerful because you can have a conversation with it, similar to like a human, and refine the answers that you want in order to get the most value out of it.
Why don't we have an example that you would use in the funeral home, for example? Like, what's something easy that we can create that a funeral director may be able to use it for?
I think a good example of this is probably going to be obituaries. This is like the easiest example of what ChatGPT could be used for is an obituary. And so I'm going to do it a little bit different than most. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to Google how to write obituary book. So just see on Amazon, like what are the books that are really popular. So let's see. So this one is let's see. Writing an obituary worth reading, a guide to write. Let's see. No, that's not it. So let's start with this, like how to write an obituary step by step guide. This one is how many reviews does it have? Only 15. 23. Okay. Let's do this one. So what I can do is basically I want to write an obituary for a family member, um, using the principles from the book by Martin Kemeloff. This is just a random example, right? Ask me questions one by one until you have enough information so that you can write a good obituary. So, what's family member's first name? First name is let's just do me, right? Let's do Will Chang. Nicknames. Let's just do. This is my Chinese nickname. Birth. It's my birthday, and I was born in Nashville, New Hampshire, Los Angeles, California. Parents. His parents is mom, Yuping Chang.
For those
Dad,
that can't see or maybe just listening, the answers that Will is providing
Ham Chang.
are actually being asked by ChatGPT as he answers them. So, after he wrote the date of birth and where he was born, it asks, could you tell me a little bit about Will Chang's family? Who were his parents? And did he have any siblings, a spouse, children, or any close family members you'd like to mention?
And I'm just writing out like who my mom is, my dad is, and my brother. I'll read the questions is asking me as well. Thank you. Can you share some details about Will's life? What are his passions, career, majors, accomplishments? What have made him unique and memorable to those who knew him? I'm just gonna make some random passions. So passions, soccer, violin. These are just things I used to do when I was growing up. Chinese school is my passion. And then career, built a funeral home software called Parting Pro. Parting Pro with his co-founder Tyler. Major accomplishments is
President of the Violin Club.
let's do has a wife named Claudine. Okay. That's great to know. How would you describe Will's personality? Was he funny, kind, ambitious, adventurous, known for a particular trait? How did he impact the people around him? Will was bipolar. He had some days where he had low energy, some days full of energy. He spent all his time trying to be helpful. Let's try that. Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like Will was a deeply caring person who made a strong effort to support those around him despite his own challenges. How did Will's friends and family describe her? Are there any stories, memories, moments that stand out to capture who he was? Let me just do Will one time saved a giraffe. Okay. That's an incredible story. Could you share more about the details about how Will saved the giraffe? Where did it happen and what was the situation? He went to a zoo and the giraffe was sick. So he took care of it. So as you can see, you don't actually have to do if you ask the questions in this format where you're asking ChatGPT to do one question at a time, you don't actually have to think too much about what you're trying to do, especially if you come up with a good framework. So we took the framework of a book, writing an obituary with reading, and then we asked it to ask us questions one at a time. And by answering these questions one at a time, then you don't really do too much thinking. You're just basically just having this conversation with ChatGPT. That's a beautiful example of Will's kindness and compassion. His willingness to help, even beyond people, shows how deeply he cared for the world around him. As we round out his obituary, how would you like people to remember Will? Is there a message, lesson, or legacy he left behind that you'd like to highlight? Um, that Will took care of the zoo animals all around him. Okay. Thank you for sharing all these details. Based on what you've told me, here's an obituary draft for Will Chang that captures his life legacy. So in bolded, it's Will Chang, or parentheses, my nickname Xiao Wei, June 18, 1985, 2025. Will Chang, affectionately known as Xiao Wei, passed away in Los Angeles, California, leaving behind a life with kindness, passion, and an unwavering commitment to caring for those around him, both people and animals alike. Born on June 18, 1985 in Nashua, New Hampshire, Will was the beloved son of Yuping Chang and Tronham Chang, and the devoted brother of Albert Chang. From a young age, Will pursued his passions wholeheartedly, excelling in soccer, mastering the violin, and dedicating himself to Chinese school. His boundless curiosity drive carried into his professional life, where he co-founded Parting Pro, a funeral home software that helped modernize and streamline the industry. Will's energy was as dynamic as a spirit. Some days were quiet, others full of boundless enthusiasm, but no matter what, he spent his time finding ways to be helpful, whether it was supporting family and friends, building something meaningful, or even tending to the animals in need. His presence left an impact wherever he went. One of the most telling stories of Will's compassion was when he visited a zoo and found a sick giraffe. Without hesitation, he took it upon himself to care for the animal, a true reflection of his deep empathy and instinct to nurture life around him. This is one example of the countless ways Will gave of himself. Will's greatest achievement, however, was the life he built around his beloved wife, Claudine. Together, they shared a journey full of love and laughter and unwavering support. Will Chang will be remembered as a man who cared for his family, his friends, and his work, even the animals that cross his path. His legacy is one of selflessness, dedication, and the simple but powerful belief that kindness matters. He leaves behind not only his loved ones, but also the countless lives he touched, both human and otherwise. A memorial service will be held. Insert details if applicable. That's kind of what ChatGPT, just the dynamic thing that you would want to put in honor of Will, those who wish to remember him may consider supporting their local zoo or an animal rescue organization, carrying forward his spirit of care and compassion. So that's kind of what they wrote. That was pretty amazing what they wrote based on the questions that they asked me. But this is just the beginning. You could also change it based on what you're looking for and tweak it too, right? And so this is a pretty long one. There's like maybe 4 or 5 paragraphs. I can ask it to, can you change this obituary into a couple of sentences instead? Certainly, here's a concise version of Will's obituary. Will Chang, June 18, 1985 to 2025. Will Chang, beloved son, brother, and husband, passed away in Los Angeles, California. A passionate soccer player and violinist, he co-founded Parting Pro, dedicated his career to helping others. Known for his kindness and unwavering desire to be helpful, Will's compassion extended beyond people, even caring for a sick giraffe at the zoo. He will be remembered for his generosity, his love for his wife, Claudine, and his deep care for the world around him. And you can keep playing with them based on kind of what you're looking for, but that's kind of how it works. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Some of the things that stood out to me is, you, for example, something that I know about that wasn't a made up story about yourself, but you did mention Parting Pro as you co-founded it, and then it actually took stuff from the internet and what it knew about Parting Pro and actually described Parting Pro in a different way. And it kind of did that through a few of these things, where it actually added color to some of the just hard facts that you gave it.
Yeah, my actually answers were very short, right? But because it knew the context of what the obituary is for, and then it understood the context of what I was telling it, it could actually add a lot of meaning and color to the things that I wrote.
And so how would this be different if you were to just say, I think most of us probably have not used, even if we have used it, have not used it in this way. I think normally someone would just think, write me an obituary for this person. How would we think about it to be a little bit more creative? Because I do think that it asked really good questions to get a better understanding and actually write the obituary differently. What should we think about when we use ChatGPT or any AI to get better answers or to get a better product?
I think the first thing is figuring out what the framework that you want ChatGPT to answer to basically write this on, right? So if you just add ChatGPT to write an obituary, it's just going to take something very generic.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you want to do is figure out actually what's the best approach or what's the best set of principles that you want ChatGPT to base it on, right? And you could even like just Google, obituary, how to write an obituary. So we used a book, for example, but you can even use like an article. So let's say, like if you wanted it to use this, right? You could just literally say, okay, I want to use this. This is a great structure, right? And so, um, please summarize this article, right? I just copied everything from that. And then, so I basically just randomly Googled an article, and let's pretend I really like that article. And then I just copied that and pasted that into ChatGPT and asked it to summarize this article. And this article is just, well, actually, it it doesn't actually see. It's telling you a summary, but it doesn't actually give you the step by step. So I would just actually, can you list the step by step principles based on the article above? And then okay, so now it's giving me the step by step. Announce the death with basic details, and it gives you a bunch of different things for that. Highlight significant life events. It gives you a bunch of things on that. Acknowledge surviving predeceased family members. Adding a message. Selecting a meaningful photo. Providing funeral memorial service details. Make the obituary a personal authentic. Use the devices for impact. Proofread, revise, etc. Right. So humor is optional. Okay. So now based on that, I was like, based on the steps above, please ask me the questions one by one until you have enough information so that you can write me an obituary. Right. And so based on that, it'll give you different questions almost because you have a different framework in which ChatGPT is basing it on, right? And so you really want to figure out what's the best framework that you want to use. You could use articles, you can use books, whatever it is. That way you have a direction to give ChatGPT so that they can go with.
So one thing this kind of reminds me of is if you remember the Matrix, when they're teaching him how to become the best self, and they uploaded Kung Fu and he says, I know Kung Fu. It's kind of like you have to give them you almost have to teach ChatGPT to limit its understanding of something in a way that you want to get that desired result before it goes out and fights crime.
Yeah.
in this case, writing an obituary.
Right.
Okay. Interesting. So I think, yeah, that's actually a new step that I learned. Typically I would just come in here and be like, hey, write me an obituary for this person with these specifics. And it would probably give me a much more generic result than something like this, which probably has a lot more color, has a lot more of a deeper meaning, and can actually be probably used and reads a little bit better than something just a little bit more generic.
Yeah. And then you can also do things like one of the articles that I really love. Like one of the articles that I really love is like how to be a better writer or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the day you became a better the day you became a better writer or something like that. It's a Dilbert article, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I would basically just go like, okay, based on this obituary, for example, that they gave us, use the principles from this article. Please rewrite the following. Please rewrite the following obituary. And then, so I just copied and pasted the obituary that was written from before. And then, so here's the rewritten obituary for Will Chang using the principles from the day you became a better writer. And basically, what it does is just uses the framework of the day you became a better writer into this obituary. So this article is really about becoming a business writer. So it's not going to be go through obituary, but it's basically taking those. It's basically taking kind of like those principles and then applying it to the obituary, right? And so you can just play around with all sorts of different ways to giving it the information it needs to have it turn out like what you want it to be.
And I'm assuming if you wanted to have it sound like a certain type of writer or a certain type of prose, you can actually use that to create a different type of obituary that would read a little differently as well.
So you could say like write the obituary above
in like Shakespearean or something.
Let's do Shakespearean. I don't even know how to spell Shakespearean. Yeah. Okay. So then here is Will Chang's obituary in obituary
read like
Shakespearean style, capturing the poetic gravitas of the bard. So, hark ye kindred souls, and lend thine ears, for sorrow's tide hath swept a noble sprite from hence. Will Chang, whom fond hearts hailed as Xiao Wei, which is my nickname, hath shuffled off this mortal coil in fair Los Angeles, leaving in his wake a life most rare and richly spun. Yeah, so we got we got a lot. I mean, you can play around with as much as you want. There's like a lot of different things, and it's really just a conversation that you're having with ChatGPT. Yeah.
Okay, so Will, that's a great example of writing an obituary, and I think it adds a little bit more color to write better obituaries using AI. But I want to try something that we haven't done before. I haven't asked you to do. We haven't talked about this, so we'll do it on the fly. But I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do something really great here. But I want to show an example. Let's say that you are creating a new funeral home brand, or you're revamping your funeral home website or brand. You should already know kind of what your values are, what your differentiators are in a funeral home. But what I'd like to do is to create a good description and or little advertising blurb about your funeral home that you can use to, show families when they first get to your website, for example.
Mhm.
So why don't we do that? We can use Will's funeral home as the name,
Mhm.
and let's just go from there.
Okay, so
Or you can ask me, and I'll give you the answers. But if
okay,
you can
so
show me how to do
so
that.
what we're gonna do is like I'm gonna tell ChatGPT that ChatGPT, you are a um, funeral director who is writing the values and content for your website. Please give me the questions you would need to ask to. He's giving you the questions that you would need in order to write a marketing blurb for your website that make will make families want to choose you. Okay. So what it's going to do is going to give me a bunch of questions. Um, Understanding your unique value proposition, what makes your funeral home different from others in your area? What specific service do you specialize in? Direct cremation, traditional funerals, green burials? Do you offer any unique technology or convenience focused services like online arrangements, live stream services, digital memorials? What is your commitment to affordability, transparency, and customer care? Addressing family needs. So we're just gonna these give me a ton of questions, right? So
Yeah.
so what I'm gonna do is basically have them ask me every single question, every one of these questions. It'll be these questions one by one until you have enough information and generate me a marketing, generate me content that will I can use for my website. Can use for my website. Okay, so let's get started. Please answer each question, and I'll use your responses to craft a compelling marketing blurb for your website. What makes your funeral home different from others in your area? Think about your unique offerings, philosophy, customer service approach, or anything that sets you apart.
Okay. Let me just use some examples from some of our customers, I guess. We have the most 5-star reviews on Google.
Mm-hmm.
Our service and attention to care is better than all. We're affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know,
We can
we'll
start with that.
we can start there. Okay.
Okay. Great. That gives us a strong foundation. Now, moving on. What specific services do you specialize in? For example, direct cremation, traditional funerals, green burials, memorial services, pre planning, veteran services, etc.
Let's do direct cremation and
Direct
simple
cremation,
burials. Yeah.
cremation, and simple burials. Okay. Got it. Do you offer any unique technology or convenience focused services? For example, online arrangements, live stream services, digital memorials, text, email updates for families, paperless documentation, etc.
Sure. Online arrangements,
Online arrangements,
digital memorials,
digital
obituaries.
memorials,
Um,
obituaries,
yeah. Communication style that fits the family needs.
communication style,
Digital paperwork. Um, Available 24/7.
digital paperwork, available 24/7. Okay, that's good enough. Great. That highlights your commitment to convenience and modern service. What is your commitment to affordability, transparency, and customer care? For example, clear pricing, no hidden fees, flexible payment plans, compassionate staff, etc.
Yeah. So clear, transparent pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no extra or hidden fees.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
it.
good. Okay. Excellent. Families appreciate transparency, and this will be a strong selling point. What are the most common concerns families have when choosing a funeral home, and how do you address them? For example, affordability, ease of planning, trustworthiness, avoiding upsells, quick services, etc.
Trustworthy,
Trustworthy.
trustworthiness, I guess. What are the most
Hmm.
common? Um, we've been in business for 20 years.
Hmm.
We have hundreds of reviews from families we've served in the past.
Hmm.
Um, we're available all the time to talk to.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a strong foundation for trust and credibility. How do you help families navigate the funeral planning process with ease and clarity? For example, step-by-step guidance, dedicated member for support, easy online process, educational resources, etc.
Yeah, easy, efficient online process. Um, you know, available to call and talk to someone if you need. Very clear pricing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Your emphasis on efficiency, availability, and transparency will resonate well with families. Do you offer flexible payment options or financing to make services more accessible? For example, payment plans, insurance acceptance, financing options, etc.
Let's just say insurance and credit cards and checks and cash.
Okay.
Nothing too special here.
Got it. How does your team go above and beyond support grieving families? For example, personalized care, compassionate staff, follow-ups, grief support, helping with paperwork, etc.
I mean, we do it all. We'll
So
we'll
I'll just copy.
handhold you.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
just copy all of this that they give examples of. That's good.
sure.
That's a strong commitment to care. Do you provide grief resources or aftercare support? Grief, for example, grief counseling referrals, online grief resources, follow-up support, memorial events.
Let's just say no.
Nope.
Yeah, let's see what happens when you don't have something.
Understood. Can you share testimonials or real-life stories that showcase how you've helped families? You can summarize a common sentiment from your reviews, or share an example of how you made things easier for a family.
Um, sure. The families often say that we are one of the most helpful services they've used in the grieving process or during the time of death for their loved one.
Okay. That's a powerful testament to your service. What locations do you serve, and what are your hours of availability?
Yeah.
Cities and regions you serve can confirm your hours. Are you truly available 24/7?
Let's say Los Angeles County, yes, 24/7.
Yes, 24/7. Great. Can families make arrangements online or by phone, or do they need to visit in person?
All of the above.
Perfect. How do you ensure a stress-free and seamless experience for families during a difficult time? For example, quick response times, simplified paperwork, clear communication, dedicated support, etc.
I would say all of that, those examples.
Okay, let's just use all these examples. I mean, they're pretty much writing it for you, huh?
Yeah.
Do you offer culturally specific or faith-based funeral services? For example, working with specific religious traditions, bilingual staff, partnerships with cultural organizations, etc.
Let's just say no, but we are always willing to accommodate special needs. I wouldn't say we specialize in anything, but
Accommodate. I don't know how to spell accommodate.
always willing to.
Always willing
or
to.
always able to.
I'm just gonna spell it wrong. Accommodating. Okay. How do you accommodate unique requests or traditions?
um,
For
just
example, ask a lot of questions.
ask a lot of questions.
Okay. That's a thoughtful approach. Understanding each family's unique needs by asking questions ensures you accommodate them properly. What should families do next if they're interested in your services?
They
Call and
can
call and start arrangements online
give us a call or visit our website.
by visiting our website. Okay. What message of reassurance do you want to leave your families considering your funeral home? Promise of care, support, making things as easy as possible for them. I'm just going to copy this example
Okay.
because they're pretty much saying everything that we need to say. Thank you for all your answers. Based on your responses, here's a compelling marketing blurb for your website. Compassionate, affordable, and trusted care when you need it most. Losing a loved one is never easy. At Will's Funeral Home, we are here to provide trusted, compassionate, and stress-free care during this difficult time. The most five-star reviews on Google and over 20 years of experience, we have helped hundreds of families navigate their arrangements with ease, affordable, and transparency. Simple, affordable cremation and burial services. We specialize in direct cremation and simple burials, ensuring a straightforward and dignified process with clear upfront pricing and no hidden fees. You can make arrangements with confidence and peace of mind. Convenience and support at every step. 24/7 availability. We're always here when you need us. Easy online arrangements. Complete everything from the comfort of home. Personalized support. Prefer to speak with someone? Call us anytime. Flexible payment options. We accept insurance, credit cards, cash, and checks. Paperwork assistance, we handle the details so you don't have to. A funeral home you can trust. Families often say we are the most helpful service they encounter after the passing of a loved one. We take pride in offering personalized care, clear communication, and quick response times to ensure your experience is easy and stress-free as possible. Your next steps. Call us anytime. We're available 24/7 to answer your questions. Start arrangements online. Visit our website to begin the process effortlessly. At Will's Funeral Home, we promise to provide the care, support, and simplicity you deserve. Let us help you through this journey with kindness, love, and dignity. I just added the love accident. But yeah, so this is how you do it. You don't really need to come up with everything yourself, as long as you basically do it step by step by giving it kind of a framework to base it off of. Ask it to ask you the right questions. It'll come up with something pretty compelling. And then after this step, you can just keep asking it to change things. And it'll just continue to massage it and refine it based on the conversation you're having with it.
Yeah, one of the things that I've always liked is like when you come up with descriptions or something, you have a certain amount of space that you want to use. So you could always limit it by amount of words or characters to fit in certain things, because they obviously gave us a really long one. This is probably longer than what you would consider a blurb, but yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, this feels like something that I could read. It's very clear in what we provide, what we do. And I'd be happy to actually use this on a funeral home website if I wanted.
Yeah, and then you can also create images too. So you can create.
Well, so let's get into that. I know like these are all business things, and I would say like the imagery stuff is probably not as relevant right now, but like here, why don't I give you a few minutes to just kind of go into something that you think is like super awesome about AI that is probably a little bit more on the not quite there for commercial use yet.
Well, I mean,
But
you could. I mean, this is like we created just this blur for your website, but you can also create images for your website, right? So you can just create an image. I'll just start with create an image that is photorealistic of a funeral home, right? And then you just tell, and it's going to create a square image here of, let's see what it looks like. Okay, so this is a square image of a funeral home that looks super fancy. I'm gonna make it actually wider. I don't know the dimensions, so like, what is a wide dimensions of an
Let's do
image.
1280 by 720. That's kind of
Okay.
like the 3 by
Make
4,
make this image
4
12
by 3.
8 4 by 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So what it's doing now is going to adjust it. So just exactly like, uh, so ChatGPT doesn't do images like the best. There are other services like, I forgot. There are other services. Do you know the other service like that I really like? I totally forgot the name.
Mid-journey.
Midjourney that does it much better. So this is a 4 by 3. Um, yeah, 4 by 3 image versus the square
Oh.
image. And then you could just change it like, okay, I want it to be nighttime, and a 1-story funeral home with roses around it. So it's going to generate the image again. There's roses. It's at nighttime. It
Oh,
doesn't. It's not a 1-story though.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you could say like, make it Van Gogh style. So yeah, you're just constantly just playing, like you can just constantly have it's a conversation around it, right? Yeah. So there's like other features that Open or ChatGPT have. Well, so here's actually an option, so you can actually do scheduled tasks, which is new. And then there's also different models. As you pay more money, the models are better.
Mhm.
But with scheduled tasks, I think you can basically create a task to remind me to um, do something tomorrow every day. So basically, you can have ChatGPT like remind you these tasks, like things like that. I've never actually used it, but yeah, you can turn on desktop notifications, and then
Mm.
it'll actually uh, remind you to do something. Um,
And I think this is what you'll see a lot in the new phones that are coming out with Apple Intelligence and the Google ones as well, right? You can talk to their AI and it'll help you kind of control in a conversational tone to actually do things for you.
yeah, and then there's actually Sora actually has um, or ChatGPT actually has this thing called Sora where you can start generating videos.
Mhm.
And similar to generating images, you can generate videos the same way, and it's just describing different videos. I'm not going to go into it, but you can see other people's videos right here, and you can see what they wrote, right?
Mhm.
And you can, based on what they wrote, you can kind of like see what they've done, and because of what they've done, you can create a based on because ultra high quality stationary shot, etc. So yeah, so you can create these type videos on Sora, which is part of Open ChatGPT. There's also these advanced reasoning things where you pay, I think you pay $200 a month, and they do like research for you. This isn't really necessary for most people unless you're like
Yeah,
coding or you're doing deep research. Yeah,
got it. Awesome.
yeah. I mean, that's just. I think like as long as you kind of understand the general process of how do you kind of get better outcomes, I think you'll get a lot of interesting things out of it.
Yeah. One of the key takeaways that I've taken away today is that you probably want to build a framework versus just asking it to do something, right off the bat.
Right. Yeah.
Because it'll help you get better results and a better understanding of, understanding of what you're trying to achieve instead of just trying to guess what you're trying to achieve by a very generic question.
Yeah, and then it's like a step-by-step thing, so you can actually have a conversation with it to change the framework first. So basically, you can have it suggest the framework, and then you can basically alter the framework first before you get into the creating whatever content that you want based on the framework.
Got it. Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Will. I think as we see these advances and they're moving so quickly, I think in a couple months or 6 months, we can have you back and probably be moving on to way more advanced tasks than just this. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, there's so much going on right now. I mean, ChatGPT, they just released something called agents, where you can actually control like websites and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on right now.
Awesome. Scary and amazing and exciting all at the same time.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you. And Will, if anyone wants to contact you and maybe has questions about AI, where can they find you?
They can email me at will@partingpro.com or that's the best way. Yeah.
You don't have to give out your phone number. It's okay. All right. Well, yeah. So if you have any questions, feel free to email Will, or go ahead and ask any of us. Thank you very much for listening for the Direct Cremation Podcast. I'm Tyler Yamasaki, and we'll catch you again later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you ever want to know more, please find us at directcremation.com.